This, sir, is a gift from me to you. Now, unfortunately, I've been told I'm not allowed to put that in cereal boxes and mail it out to people anymore. So I'll drop it in your Overlord Club account. Thank goodness you have one.
Yes,
$10,000,
yes.
my friend. Yeah,
Wow,
sorry it was
man,
so
I
hard to
really
get you on the
appreciate
call.
that. And yeah, so I'm just a dad. I've got two kids. I have a wife. She works during the day as a teacher, and then at night I was just doing manual labor, but 1099 work. So
To
and
get you on
definitely
early and stuff.
reinvesting, right? That's what we
Yes, sir.
learn. I've been keeping up with you over there on all your socials, and I love your content.
You have any questions for me while you got me?
I wouldn't mind actually talking about the ore. I was looking into that.
Yeah, sure. So I like crypto and I like real estate. Unfortunately, there's not a ton of good crypto projects on chain, so I had to make one. So we've set up a little REIT. It's not legally a REIT. Gary Gensler, if you're watching this, no, you're wrong. But basically, we've got a company. It holds real estate. All right. And we go out there and we mortgage it and leverage it up and we buy more real estate with it. I know, a clever, innovative strategy that's never been done before. Where we benefit beyond other things, other than the fact that we get some cheap capital, we get it at like 2% thanks to the discount Dow, which so we get to have cheap capital and leverage it up. But also because we have this real estate token, we can buy properties and we can buy properties with the real estate token. Because, like right now, it's yielding like 25%. Now, obviously, that changes over time, but 25% monthly cash flow is stupid high on anything, especially when it's, real estate based.
Right.
You get the, distributions and stuff from the thing, but we're able to get it super cheap debt so we can keep growing. Whereas normal REITs and stuff, they got to pay out 80% of distributions. They're very limited at how they grow. And honestly, most of them on the stock market, like Realty Income and stuff, they're trading so high that even though they've got good cash flow, their yield's 4%. Well, 4% ain't getting anybody anywhere unless they're a billionaire, and in which case you're probably doing something a little better than that anyway. But
Right.
basically, it's just a way to grow really, really fast with real estate as opposed to the very slow, very grinding thing that may be slightly more tax efficient, but you can get all the tax benefits yourself by taking your real estate tokens, which pretty close to equity. But Gary Gensler, again, it's not equity. They're tokens that just look a lot like it. And so you can take that to a place like the discount Dow and you can get a cheap loan against it. I believe right now they're about 5%. And I may have had an indication that they're going to stay about like that, but I, of course, could never make a public statement saying they're definitely probably going to stay at that for about 4 or 5 years. But
Right. Right.
well, if they're yielding 25% and we can wrap them through our club, and you can take that wrap token to the discount Dow and borrow against it at say 5%, well, you got a net 20% and you now have your cash. You can go, take care of whatever you need to take care of. Or if you're a degenerate like me, you can go back in and be like, more real estate, please. 90% loan to value. Yes, I'll leverage this up 3, 4, 5 times. Don't do this, by the way. Anybody watching this, like, just because I'm a degenerate who leverages up does not mean you should be. I have a very too high risk tolerance. Don't follow in my path. But yeah, it's basically a way to get a better real estate asset. And it's comprised of single family homes and those storage units and, just miscellaneous things that make sense. The goal of the real estate token is any property coming in should average rent that is 1.1% of the property's value per month, which comes out to about 13.2% per year. But now, of course, you got expenses, you got to pay the mortgages, you got to pay upkeep. Like that's not just cash in your pocket. If you get a nice percentage on it, say you're netting 5% per property, and because you've got a 10% down on your mortgage, so effectively you're getting 10 properties for the price of one, that's 50%. Now, obviously, there's some more expenses that go into it and all, but like that's some cash flow. Not to mention, because we've got it
Right.
levered up, while the government keeps printing more and more money and inflation keeps making the cost of houses go up so high nobody can afford them, the value of those properties go up. Well, because we've got so many properties on our dollar cost, because we're basically 10 timesing it without even factoring in any leverage we get from using the token to buy things. 1% increase in the property is actually 10% increase in the properties because it's the portfolio of properties, each of them going up by 1%. So on our initial cash, we've gotten 10% from just 1% inflation. Now, if you think the government's only putting out 1% inflation, can I start sipping the Kool-Aid with you? That would be nice. Fortunately, that's not the world we live in. But yeah, it's just a way where you can have really good exposure to real estate. There's a bunch of good people managing it. Um, and you can leverage it up if you're a degenerate like me, which you probably shouldn't be, but you can. And it's great collateral for a quick loan and stuff. That way you never have to sell. And me personally, I don't like paying taxes. I know the evil guys who don't like paying tax. Yeah, well, you know what? I got a lot of employees to pay, and I'd rather pay them. When you borrow against your OREE, the real estate token at say DM, you got that 5% interest payment you got to make. I mentioned. Well, the thing is, you write that off your taxes, and while your OR tokens are going up in value, and if they're wrapped, it's all treated as a capital gains. So while that's going up and up in value, you're not paying tax on it unless AOC gets into office and votes for that 25% unrealized tax. Then we're all hosts, but you know, we can all go bankrupt together. But assuming that's not the case, I hope, you now pay less in taxes because of the interest, while you aren't having to pay taxes on your capital gains that's rolling, and compounding on itself every single month. You get to turn what would otherwise be ordinary income, which is taxed at a much higher rate, into a capital gains tax. It's just a nice little thing. That's kind of a high level overview. Do you have any questions? Because I feel like I've been rambling, and I ramble about crypto, banking, finance for hours on end. So you should stop me at some point.
And no, I love that. That was beautiful. It helped me. It helped me because crypto. I know we talked before that I've dabbled in it before, but it was mostly just like Solana, and not really too much else. So, but I've been wanting to get back into it. I ended up selling mine towards the end of COVID, and then unfortunately some of it got taken away. I know we talked about that as well, but no, so that was something when I was looking at
mostly. Yeah, if I can give you any advice, stay away from meme coins. Anything that doesn't have cash flow. I feel like I harp on this all the time, but if there's no fundamental cash flow, no underlying value, and look, token buybacks supported by cash flow, that's fine too. I'm not saying things that appreciate in value are bad. I'm just saying it has to have underlying fundamentals that are good. Okay. If I can leave any advice at all, please let that be it. Because all these other worthless tokens, they are worthless, and eventually they will return to that. I'm afraid it's gonna happen. And I really hate seeing my fellow Americans lose money.
Yeah, it happens very often, unfortunately. So, that's why I was looking into it, and it really piqued my interest. So I just kind of wanted to hear you talk about it. Obviously, you're going to be one of the best ones to understand it. So
yeah, I helped create it, so I hope I know what's going on there. So like heavily biased. Assume anything I've mentioned today, except meme coins, I have some stake in. So like, be aware, everyone. Well, all you got to do to claim your 10K is go in on your account and make sure you're logged in. You got to be logged in. Click on the mega deposit on the front page and enter the free code. Make sure you have the 10K thing for the account deposit, and it'll come straight out of mine into yours. Enjoy. And if I'm not mistaken, you have a night package, so you'll be seeing 20% interest on that, until you decide to cool it off and pull it out. So
it'll stay for a while. I'm sure some of it will also get turned into some ore, but
well, so be it. Hey, more people buying ore means the thing has more cash to buy more properties with.
I like your persona. I love it. Thanks for what you've done, over there with the website. I love it. It's really smooth in order to be able to follow through with all the blog posts and everything. So I appreciate what y'all do for us.